There is a silence that follows you everywhere, a strange weight hidden beneath the noise of your days, like a low hum that only you can hear, reminding you that something essential has gone missing. You wake each morning and step back into the character you've learned to play, layering on the same expressions, the same words, the same careful gestures designed to keep the world comfortable. And though people call you kind, dependable, selfless, inside you know that their praise tastes like ashes on your tongue. They are clapping not for who you are, but for how well you have vanished. You were trained, slowly and quietly, to erase yourself, to soften every sharp edge, to silence your hunger, to bend where you once wanted to stand. And somewhere along the way, the person you were born to be disappeared beneath the weight of who the world demanded you become. Carl Jung called this mask the persona, the social face we build to survive, and it is not evil, not false, not even unnatural, but it becomes a kind of quiet tragedy when you begin mistaking it for your soul. You weren't born to be a reflection of everyone else's expectations. You were born to be fire, to burn with a light that was entirely your own. But the world taught you that your fire was dangerous, that your depth was too heavy, that your sensitivity was something to be managed rather than honored. So you learned to dim. You learned to hide your storms behind polite smiles, to tuck your longing into the folds of silence, to call your self-abandonment kindness and your exhaustion being strong. The world celebrated you for it. They applauded the way you carried their burdens without complaint, the way you made space for their chaos while swallowing your own, the way you stayed small enough to fit inside their comfort. They called you good, but what they were really praising was your absence. And now you are tired in a way that no amount of sleep can cure. Because wearing a mask demands more energy than showing your face. Because living as a persona means living as a ghost. This is the hidden cost of being the empathic soul who forgets themselves. You begin to exist as an echo rather than a voice, as a caretaker rather than a creator, as a shadow drifting through the story of your own life. You feel everything except yourself. You carry everyone's pain and yet deny your own. You soothe, you listen, you forgive, you sacrifice, and still a hollowness grows inside you, deep and cold as an abandoned well. You are terrified to admit how empty you feel because you've been told emptiness means failure, but it is not failure. It is truth, breaking through the lies you've told yourself. Jung warned that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely, and this is why so many people never do. They choose the safety of their mask over the risk of being real. They choose applause over authenticity. They choose belonging over becoming. And maybe you have done the same for years, maybe for decades, but something inside you is rising now, something ancient and undeniable, pressing up from beneath the surface like roots breaking through concrete. It began as a whisper, soft and almost invisible, the quiet thought, "I don't want this life." You ignored it, so it grew louder. It became tension in your body, a constant fatigue, a dull despair that clung to you even in moments that were supposed to be joyful. And now it has become a roar you cannot silence. This is not weakness. It is not collapse. It is the first sign that you are waking up. The soul rebels when the persona becomes too tight, and when it does, the life you have built around that mask begins to crumble. You may call it burnout, depression, meaninglessness, but these are only names for a deeper truth. Your real self is done waiting. It is calling you back. There is grief in this awakening. You will grieve the version of you that once kept you safe. You will grieve the years spent trying to be what they wanted. You will grieve the people who only knew how to love your mask and not your soul. But grief is the price of rebirth, and something in you already knows this. Something in you is willing to burn the false life to the ground to find the one thing that has always been real, Listen to me. You are not broken. You are simply unfinished. You are not too much. You are simply still whole in a world that rewards fragments. The emptiness you fear is not a void. It is the clearing being carved for your return. And yes, it will be terrifying. The people who benefited from your silence will resist you. They will call you selfish, cold, ungrateful. They will try to pull you back into the old performance because they cannot bear to see you step off their stage. Let them, because when you stop pretending, you do not lose people who love you. You lose people who loved your mask. That is not loss. That is liberation. So pause, breathe, feel the weight of every role you have carried, the caretaker, the overachiever, the peacemaker, the one who never complains, and imagine dropping them, one by one, onto the ground. Listen to them shatter. The silence that follows is not emptiness. It is you, raw, unedited, real. There is a pulse rising in that silence, faint but steady, like a drumbeat deep under the earth. It is the sound of your soul remembering itself. You do not have to know who you will become. You only have to stop being who you are not. There will be loneliness at first. There will be fear. You will wake some mornings and feel like you are falling through your own life. But slowly, as you stop betraying yourself, something miraculous will happen. Energy will return. Clarity will return. Joy will return. Not as a fleeting high, but as a quiet fire humming steadily in your chest. And you will realize that you were never weak, only buried. This is the moment the world begins to fear you, because once the empath stops needing approval, they become uncontrollable. You will stop molding yourself to their comfort. You will stop apologizing for your depth. You will begin to speak truths that tremble through rooms, and the same people who once called you too sensitive will whisper that you have changed. They will be right. Jung called this first rupture the beginning of individuation, the slow unbinding of the real self from the false. It is the point where your soul refuses to keep playing small, where the old mask becomes too heavy to carry another step. And though the path ahead will be dark, know this: nothing in that darkness can destroy you, because you are what it is made of. You are not here to be small. You are not here to be silent. You are here to burn. And to do that, you must be willing to step beyond the crumbling persona and descend into the place you have feared most. The realm of everything you exiled, everything you were taught to hide, everything that still waits in the shadows to be seen. Because what you have buried is not your weakness, it is your power, and it is waiting for you now. There is a place inside you that you have spent a lifetime avoiding, a silent territory hidden beneath every smile you have ever forced and every apology you have ever whispered when you were the one bleeding. It lurks behind the words you never spoke, in the clenched jaw you carried through your childhood, in the restless ache that wakes you in the quiet hours of the night. You have called it fear, shame, anger, chaos, anything but what it truly is: your shadow. It is everything you buried to survive, everything you were told was unacceptable, too loud, too strange, too wild, too powerful. Every impulse you repressed to stay loved has gathered here, waiting for you, and for years you have walked around this place as if it were a minefield, careful never to let it erupt, terrified that if you even glance in its direction, it will consume you. But this is the great paradox Jung tried to tell us. What you reject does not disappear. It grows stronger in the dark. The more you deny it, the more it rules you from the shadows. Every time you silence your anger, it leaks out as resentment. Every time you repress your desire, it festers into envy. Every time you swallow your grief, it hardens into numbness. And you wonder why you are tired, why you feel split, why joy tastes so thin. It is because you are using your life force to guard a prison inside yourself. You have built your whole identity on being good, kind, soft, but beneath that mask, your shadow has been pacing like a caged animal, growing restless, hungry, desperate to be seen. This is why the world feels so heavy lately, not because you are broken, but because you are carrying all the parts of yourself you abandoned. They cling to you like ghosts, pulling at your energy, whispering in your dreams, begging to be remembered. And here is the most terrifying truth: they are not your enemies, they are you. When Jung explored the human psyche, he said the shadow holds not only our darkness, but our potential. It is the container of everything unlived within us, the power we denied, the creativity we feared, the rage that could have protected us, the desire that could have fueled us, the boundaries we never drew. The shadow is not evil. It is simply everything that became forbidden. And if you want to become whole, you must walk into this darkness and bring its contents into the light. You will not want to. Your instincts will tell you to run. Your ego will scream that this is dangerous, that if people see this part of you, they will leave, that if you allow these buried forces to surface, they will destroy you. But the truth is that they are already shaping you, silently, invisibly. They drive your choices from beneath your awareness, guiding you toward relationships where you are used, jobs where you are unseen, routines where you slowly erode. You think you are choosing these things. You are not. They are the gravitational pull of what you refuse to face. Look closely at your patterns, the way you overgive until you collapse, the way you apologize for existing, the way you sabotage your own joy because you do not believe you deserve it. These are not random flaws. They are the language of your shadow, speaking through your behavior because you have not let it speak with words. And if you do not turn toward it now, it will keep speaking in chaos. So you must go in, not with judgment, not with shame, but with reverence. You must become the witness instead of the jailer. You must walk into the darkness like an archaeologist entering a forgotten temple, brushing the dust from the bones of who you were before they told you who to be. There is grief waiting here, sharp and deep, for all the times you betrayed yourself to be loved, all the times you dimmed your light to keep someone else comfortable, all the times you swallowed your truth to avoid being left. There will be anger too, hot and startling, like fire trapped in stone, and it will frighten you because you have spent your life believing that good people do not feel rage. But this anger is sacred. It is the part of you that knew you deserved better. It is the part that screamed for you when you would not scream for yourself. Do not try to control it. Listen to it. Let it speak. It will tell you the story of every boundary you should have drawn and did not. It will name the moments when your soul was betrayed, especially by you. And as you listen, something strange will happen. The fire will soften. It will not consume you. It will warm you, because anger, once witnessed, transforms into strength. There is grief behind it, and you must let yourself feel that too. The grief of the child who learned to disappear, the grief of the teenager who silenced their dreams to be accepted, the grief of the adult who has lived a life that was never truly theirs. Let it come. Let it crack you open. You will not drown. You will be cleansed. And then, beneath the anger and the grief, you will find something you did not expect. Power. Real, quiet, unshakable power. The kind that does not need to shout. The kind that does not need permission. It will feel strange at first, like wearing a body that is suddenly too large, like standing up after years spent kneeling. You will want to shrink back. Do not. This power has always been yours. You only exiled it because they feared it, and you believed them. But it was never dangerous. It was only unfamiliar. Jung said that wholeness is not achieved by cutting off parts of yourself, but by integrating them. This is what it means, not to destroy the shadow, but to make peace with it, to bring it home. When you do, something extraordinary happens. The shadow stops sabotaging you. It stops leaking into your relationships, your choices, your thoughts. It becomes your ally. It lends you its fire instead of burning your life from underneath. You will begin to speak with more clarity, because the part of you that once trembled is now standing beside you. You will stop seeking permission to exist, because you will feel the weight of your own worth in your bones. You will stop saying yes when your soul is screaming no, because the part of you that once stayed silent has learned how to roar. People will notice. Some will be drawn to you like moths to a flame. Others will retreat, unsettled, because they can no longer control you. Let them go. You are no longer here to be controlled. You are here to become whole. And this is only the beginning. Because once you have entered the shadow and survived its storm, you will realize you are not fragile at all. You will see that your sensitivity was never weakness. It was radar. That your depth was never a flaw, it was the ocean you were meant to swim in. That your pain was not a curse, it was a compass pointing you back to yourself. The world will not understand this transformation. They will tell stories about you, that you became cold, distant, hard, but you will know the truth. You did not become hard, you became real. And realness is something they cannot tame. So keep walking. There is more to reclaim. The shadow still holds fragments of you, your passion, your creativity, your audacity, your voice. As you bring each piece back, you will feel your center solidify. The confusion will fade. The exhaustion will lift. You will begin to move through life, not as someone performing for approval, but as someone carrying a secret sun inside their chest. And that sun will change everything. Because this is what happens when an empath steps into their shadow. They stop existing as prey. They become the storm. They become the flame. They become untouchable. Soon, the mask will fall away completely. And when it does, the world will meet someone it has never met before, the real you. There comes a moment, after the storm of the shadow has passed, when the silence feels different than it used to. No longer hollow but heavy with possibility, as though the air itself has thickened with the presence of something new, something ancient and forgotten that is finally stirring awake. You stand inside your own life and realize you are no longer collapsing under its weight, that the mask has slipped from your hands and shattered, and instead of panic, there is only stillness, vast and trembling, like the quiet that follows thunder. For the first time, you can feel the outline of who you might be if you stopped asking permission to exist. It is only a faint shape at first, fragile as smoke, but it is yours, and when you reach for it, something inside you answers. This is the beginning of individuation, the process Carl Jung described as the soul gathering back its lost pieces, the slow and dangerous return to wholeness. It does not happen all at once. It comes in waves, each one pulling you further from the shore of who you were and deeper into the ocean of who you are. And though it is liberating, it is also terrifying, because the first thing you must face is the truth of how much of your life was built on a lie. You will look at your routines, your relationships, your ambitions, and see how many of them were chosen by the mask, not the soul. You will realize how often you said yes from fear rather than desire, how often you chased love by abandoning yourself. There is grief in this, sharp and disorienting, as if you are mourning a person who never truly existed, but still held your whole life together. You will want to run back to the old performance simply because it is familiar. Do not. The cage will always feel safer than the sky until you remember how to fly. At first, you will not know how to move as your real self. You will feel clumsy, exposed, too bright. You will second-guess every word you speak because you are used to sculpting them for approval. But if you are patient, something extraordinary will happen. The voice you buried will begin to return. It will be quiet at first, like a whisper behind your thoughts, but it will grow stronger each time you choose it over silence. This is how you begin to inhabit your own life again, moment by moment, choice by choice, pulling your soul back from every place you left it behind. You will notice that time begins to feel different. Days no longer blur into each other. Moments have weight again. Even your solitude will feel alive, rich with the hum of your own presence. You will start to want things, not because someone told you they were worthy, but because they are yours. And this wanting will frighten you, because it will require boundaries, and boundaries are the sharp edges you once sanded down to survive. But now you will draw them like sacred lines. You will say no, not as an act of defiance, but as an act of devotion. You will stop bleeding for people who never learned how to hold you. You will stop making yourself small to soothe the insecurities of those who cannot bear your fullness. And yes, some people will leave when you do this. Let them. They are not walking away from you. They are walking away from the version of you that existed to keep them comfortable. That version is gone. The world will try to lure you back into your old shape. It will offer you the same rewards it once used to keep you obedient: praise, approval, belonging. It will whisper that you are safer as an echo than as a voice. But you will feel something in your bones now that you did not feel before, a kind of gravity pulling you inward, deeper into the center of yourself. And you will know that going back would be a kind of death, because once you have touched your real self, the mask becomes unbearable. You can no longer trade your soul for comfort. You can no longer dim your fire without choking on the smoke. This is the paradox of becoming whole. The more you return to yourself, the lonelier it becomes, because few people are brave enough to walk this path, and those who remain asleep will not understand you. They will say you are selfish, arrogant, unrecognizable. They will miss the version of you that dimmed her own light to keep their shadows from stirring, but their misunderstanding is not your burden to carry. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be true. And the few souls who can meet you in this truth will find you, drawn not to your mask, but to your fire. And when they do, the loneliness will begin to dissolve into something deeper than belonging: connection. As you gather your scattered pieces, you will feel a strength rising in you that does not depend on anything outside you. It will not come from being liked or admired. It will not flicker when you are rejected. It will be rooted in something unshakable, something older than fear. You will walk through rooms with a stillness that unsettles people, not because you are cold, but because you are no longer performing. You will stop explaining yourself. You will stop asking for permission to feel what you feel, to want what you want, to be who you are. Your very presence will become a boundary, and for the first time in your life, you will feel safe inside your own skin. This is what Jung meant when he said that individuation is not about becoming perfect, but about becoming whole. Wholeness is messy, it is contradictory, it is wild. It means carrying your darkness without shame and your light without apology. It means being able to say, "This is who I am," and not flinch when the world looks away. It means loving the parts of yourself that no one else applauded, especially the ones you once exiled to survive. It means realizing that the point of this life was never to be easy to love, but to be impossible to erase. You will begin to notice beauty in strange places, the crookedness of your own smile, the way your voice trembles when you speak something true, the way your heart still aches for the world even after everything it has done to you. You will stop trying to fix yourself. You will stop trying to earn your worth. You will start living as if your existence is already enough, because it is. And this shift will change everything. Time will slow. Colors will sharpen. Even your pain will taste different, no longer like poison, but like medicine, bitter and necessary and alive. People will sense this change before they can name it. They will say there is something different about you, something they can't quite place. They will say you seem calm, grounded, untouchable. They will not understand that what they are seeing is not calmness but sovereignty, not detachment but freedom. and you will not need them to understand. Because you will understand, because for the first time you will belong to yourself, and yet this is not the end. It is only the threshold, because once you have reclaimed your scattered pieces and begun to walk as your real self, life will demand something even greater, that you live as this self unapologetically every day, even when the world resists you. Individuation is not a destination. It is a continual act of courage, a daily choice to stand in your own fire. And now, as you stand here with your mask in ruins at your feet and your soul burning quietly in your chest, you are ready for that choice. The world will not know what to do with someone who no longer seeks its approval. It will try to silence you, shrink you, distract you with noise. But there is a stillness in you now that cannot be shaken. You will speak, and your voice will carry a weight it never carried before, because it will be rooted in truth. You will love, and your love will burn with the intensity of someone who no longer needs to be chosen. You will walk through this life not as a question, but as an answer, and this is what you were always meant to become. There comes a point when you realize you no longer have to prove anything to anyone, when the war you have been fighting to justify your existence simply falls silent, not because you have won, but because you have finally stepped out of the battlefield. The applause that once intoxicated you now sounds distant, hollow, like echoes from a play you no longer perform in, and the disapproval that once pierced you like arrows now drifts past like smoke. You walk through the same world, but something fundamental has changed. You no longer need it to tell you who you are. The axis of your life has shifted inward. There is a center inside you now, solid and unmoving, and everything else orbits around it. This is the rare, quiet power that Carl Jung called the self, not the mask you showed the world, not the fragments you once scattered to be loved, but the whole of you, integrated, unhidden, indivisible. At first, this wholeness will feel almost unbearable, like holding lightning in your chest. You have spent so long dimming your light that standing fully in it will make your hands shake. You will want to shrink, to explain, to soften yourself back into something familiar, but the old shape no longer fits. You have grown too real to be palatable. You will speak, and people will flinch, not because you are cruel, but because your words no longer bend to their comfort. You will love, and some will run, not because you are unloving, but because your love no longer bleeds to prove itself. There is a sharpness to your presence now, like the edge of a blade that has been buried too long and is finally drawn into the light. And this sharpness is not violence, it is clarity. The world will test you. It always does when someone becomes free. It will dangle the old rewards in front of you, praise, approval, belonging, and wait for you to kneel again. It will send people to poke at your boundaries, to question your worth, to guilt you back into the shape that kept them comfortable. But you will not bend. You will not explain, because something in you knows now what it cost to get here, and you will not pay that price again. You will walk away from anything that asks you to abandon yourself, even if it leaves you standing alone, especially if it leaves you standing alone. Because loneliness is no longer the enemy, it is the cathedral where you meet your own soul. You will begin to make choices not from fear, but from alignment, and this will confuse people who are still ruled by fear. They will call you reckless, cold, arrogant, but what they are really seeing is someone who no longer negotiates with their own worth. You will no longer ask, will they approve, before you speak, or will they stay, before you love, or will they accept me, before you become. You will live as if your existence requires no explanation, because it doesn't. You will stop asking, who am I allowed to be, and begin asking, what would I do if I were fully myself? And you will do it. There is a stillness in this kind of life, but it is not passive. It is the stillness of a mountain, unmoved by weather, rooted so deeply that storms can only polish its surface. People will feel this when they are near you. Some will be magnetized, drawn to the gravity of your presence. Others will bristle because they can no longer pull you into their chaos. Let them. You are no longer here to be pulled. You are here to stand. And in standing, you will discover that what you once called strength was only endurance. But what you carry now is something else entirely, sovereignty. This sovereignty will transform how you love. You will stop loving as a transaction, giving pieces of yourself to be chosen. You will love as an overflow, not a bargain. You will give because your cup is full, not because you are thirsty. And when someone cannot meet you there, you will not beg, you will not chase, you will not shrink. You will simply let them go, not in bitterness, but in truth. Because love rooted in self-abandonment is not love. It is hunger dressed in devotion, and you are not hungry anymore. You are whole. This wholeness will also change how you dream. You will stop chasing goals that impress and start pursuing ones that nourish. You will stop asking, will this make me worthy? And start asking, will this make me alive? And you will notice something remarkable. The more you honor your aliveness, the more life will rise to meet you. Opportunities will begin to find you, not because you are striving, but because your authenticity is magnetic. The things meant for your false self will fall away. The things meant for your real self will appear, sometimes suddenly, sometimes quietly, as if they have been waiting just beyond the horizon for you to become someone who could hold them. Living as your true self will not be easy. It will be raw and unscripted. There will be days when you stumble back toward the old patterns, when fear whispers that you are too much, when the loneliness howls, but you will not break. Because you have touched something unbreakable inside you. You have walked through your shadow and survived. You have gathered your fragments and come back whole, and no amount of noise can make you forget the sound of your own soul. There will be moments when the world grows quiet around you, not because it has abandoned you, but because it is listening. You will speak and people will fall still, not out of fear, but reverence. They will not know why, only that there is something in your voice that cannot be argued with. That is the sound of someone who is no longer asking to be allowed to exist. That is the sound of someone who has become. And this is the secret, the one they never told you. The purpose of all this pain was never to make you stronger. It was to make you real. Strength can be taken. Realness cannot. You are no longer trying to be good. You are no longer trying to be safe. You are no longer trying to be loved. You are being. And in being, you have become everything they told you to seek outside yourself. Love, safety, strength. So live now. Live boldly. Live without apology. Walk through the world as if you belong here, because you do. Say what only you can say. Build what only you can build. Love in the way only you can love. And when fear rises, as it will, look it in the eye and keep walking. Because fear is not a stop sign anymore. It is a compass. It points to where your soul wants to grow. From this day on, let your life be a declaration. I am no longer here to be acceptable. I am here to be true. If you are ready to claim that truth, write it in the comments. I choose awareness. If you are walking through your shadow, write, I face my shadow. And if you have begun this return to yourself, write, I am becoming whole. Then subscribe and keep walking with us into the fire of who you were always meant to be.